Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our webinar for today. I'm just going to wait for a minute so that students can log in and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we give it up to student, I would just like to introduce myself and my organization. My name is Natalia Khan and I work at the Education USA Lahore office as an Education USA advisor. We're going to start talking about USCFP. USCFP is the United States Education Foundation in Pakistan. In Pakistan, Education USA is housed within USCFP. We have our flagship program, which is the Fulbright Scholarship. It is a fully funded scholarship for master's and PhD students. If you or you know someone who's interested, let them know about the Fulbright Scholarship. It is an amazing scholarship. You can visit the USCFP page online and get more information about it. As I mentioned earlier, at Education USA and Pakistan is housed within USCFP. At Education USA, we are a part of the US Department of State. So any information that we will provide you will be accurate, current, and comprehensive. We help students by giving them resources, guidance, and advice on how to find their best fit university. These are just some of the services that we offer. We have free in-house sessions, such as this session today, which is online. We also have a couple of in-person sessions. You can visit the Education USA Pakistan website for an agenda of upcoming sessions. We have free workshops. We have library. Our office is located inside a college in Lahore. If you need some SAT, GRE prep books to study, or if you just need a place to study, you are just leave us an email. And our most famous service is going to be the one-on-one advising service. You can go to our website, Education USA Pakistan, and register with us. You will be assigned an advisor, and then that advisor will work with you throughout the application process. This is just an email address. If you guys have any questions, concerns, please leave us an email. I'm going to give it up to Susan now to start her part of the presentation. Thank you so much for being here for us, Susan. And I'm also, if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, in the Q&A box, and we will answer them at the end.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Hi, everyone. My name is Susan, and I am with DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois. I come to Pakistan quite a bit, usually a couple times a year. So you might have seen me before in Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore. I will also be in Pakistan this October. So look forward to meeting you if you have any questions then as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Can someone please verify that you can see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up if you can see it? I'm assuming you can. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, whoever did that. All right, great. So as I said, my name is Susan. I'm with DePaul University in Chicago. I have been in international education for many, many years, and have done study abroad, international admissions and recruitment, program development. Very excited to be here and talk to you a little bit about the Common App. So the Common App this is going to be very focused on undergraduate students. Graduate students do not use the Common App. But I'm going to go through just some pointers for how to use the Common App, which is used by many schools in the United States. I will also save some time for questions at the end, and I can answer questions about the Common App, applying to universities, DePaul University. So it's up to you, okay? So as we get started. What is the Common App? So the Common App is a platform utilized by many schools in the United States that allows students to apply for university. So they create a profile page, and then you get to add your universities to this profile page. Once you add your universities, you're then able to apply to many different universities and don't have to fill out all the demographic information again or submit your transcripts. So we'll go through this a little bit more. It's very important for US applications because, as I said, there are many schools in the United States that use this, so it saves you a lot of time and money if you use the Common App. There are also other applications like the Coalition app. I know some universities have their own application as well. As you've probably heard before, there's so many universities in the United States, and we all have slightly different methods that we use to assist students in applying to our university. The Common App is usually used by high school students, so it's usually used for undergraduate students. Some universities do use the transfer aspect or portion of the Common App as well, but once again, this is something that you need to identify with the school. There's a few very special considerations for international students when it comes to using the Common App. And I will go through those through this presentation. But most importantly, the information that you put on the Common App, your demographic information, is what's going to follow you to your application system. So it's really important that you use your full correct name. So when you go to the Common App, and we had a little, oops, sorry. Let me just go back a second. So when you go to the Common App, I was going to show you how to, can you see the screen? You can see the Common App screen, everyone. Natalia, can you see the Common App screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I created an account. I was going to walk through this with you, but look at what's happened. The Common App opens on August 1st, so I'm unable to walk through the application with you, which is okay. But I will tell you a little bit about how you need to set this up, and then you can mess around with it after August 1st when it's open. So when you go into the Common App, which is commonapp.org, the web address is up there. If you haven't already attended college, you're going to select first year student. That's going to be your qualification. If you have college credits from like dual enrollment, this is very common in the United States. You're in high school, but you're also taking some university classes, you're still going to select first year students. If you're in Pakistan and you're going to an A-levels college, you are still going to select first year student, okay? So that's going to be who you are. You will need to add your email and password. When choosing an email address, students ask all the time, should I use my school address? I would recommend no, because once you graduate from school, you might not, you're probably still in the application process. If they turn off your school email address, we can't contact you anymore, and you have to contact us to change your email. So I would recommend either setting up a specific email address to use with the Common App or using your personal email address. Speaking of email addresses, another very important thing to remember. If you set up, let's say I set up the Common App and my email address is suecollege at gmail.com. If you take a TOEFL test, Duolingo test, IELTS test, it's very important that you use that same email, okay? That makes it very easy for all your information to travel over to the correct application in the university CRM system. Another thing you want to think about when you use your email addresses, because we see them and everyone at the university sees them, don't use inappropriate language and don't try and make jokes about your email address. One year a student was, I hate to study at gmail.com. I mean, seriously, why do you want to use that email address for universities? So just make it neutral, make it something easy to remember. And please make sure the email address you used on your Common App application is something that you will be able to check and have access to. Okay. The next thing you need to do is when you complete your registration information, we need your name, first name, last name, home address, phone number, and date of birth. This is also very, very important, so listen carefully. Your name has to exactly match your passport. So I recommend looking at your passport, seeing how your name is described on your passport. Sometimes in Pakistan, students have two first names on their as their given name, and then family name is one name. Sometimes they have a middle name, sometimes they have no last name. You have to double check that the name you're putting on your Common App exactly matches your passport. This will save so much time in the future because we will use this information to issue your I-20s if you are admitted. And that has to exactly match your passport. Okay. The other thing, phone number. It's very important that you remember to use your country code. I can't remember what it is for Pakistan, but on the Common App, there's going to be a place with that little drop down. Make sure you put your country code in there and then your phone number. Okay. Many universities now use WhatsApp. I know DePaul does WhatsApp and SMS to contact students. So we need to make sure we have a correct number. And then finally, date of birth. At DePaul, like most places in the United States, we do month, day, year. So please remember this when you're putting in your birthday. All right. As I said, you have to add your legal name and it needs to be exactly as it appears on your passport. Also, when it comes to addresses, everyone has an official address. If you don't know what it is, you need to ask your parents. This is something else we also need for your I-20 if you are admitted. Every year I get students whose address is the small road behind the bazaar or the road next to the post office. That's not a real address. We need your real address. As I said, if you don't have it, your parents should be able to get access to your address. Okay. Um, and then after you register, oops, you are going to select your communication preferences, just saying it's okay for you to be contacted and accept the privacy policy. All right. So this is a little bit about what the profile page looks like on the Common App. As I said, I was going to walk you through all of this, but I'm unfortunately not able to do that. This is where you're going to put in your first name. If you already started a Common App, when it opens again on August 1st, you should just be able to pick up from where you left off. But once again, this is your legal given first name. Please, please make sure that it matches your passport. Obviously, my name is not Susan Test, but if you have a nickname you want to use, like mine would be Sue, I would put it in the box down here. Okay. When you go to fill out the Common App, there's going to be little boxes that come up on the right-hand side. This is where it says need help. These are so useful. So please, please use these boxes if you have any questions. Okay. So this is going back to the address, contact, and demographics that you're going to be putting in. Your permanent home address, this is where you live if you're in Pakistan, where you live in Pakistan. We need your permanent address in order to issue the I-20. Let's say you are from Kyrgyzstan, but you're living in Pakistan and you're doing this presentation with me right now. Let's say you have a Kyrgyz address and a Pakistani address, but let's say your citizenship is Kyrgyz. We need you to put down your Kyrgyz address in that area. So it has to match your citizenship. All right. If you have an alternate mailing address, so this is if you're at boarding school and you want to get access to any mail the university might send you, you can click that you have a temporary or alternate address. When you click this box, it will pull up another address box, and you can just put your address in there and the date and to which it's going to be valid. It's not necessary to use the alternate address box. It's up to you. But we do need your permanent home address, okay? The next thing on the contact details is going to be preferred phone. And one thing, the asterisks, these mean these are required, okay? So your phone, home, mobile, most students use a mobile phone right now. I don't know anyone who really has a landline anymore, but if you do, whatever one you prefer, here is where I was talking about the drop down. Please make sure you select this drop down box and put your country code in it, okay? If you have another phone that you want to use, you can add it here as well. The next thing is gender. As you see, there is no requirement to list this here. So if you don't feel comfortable listing gender, that's 100% fine. We do need legal sex, and this is due to I-20 issuance. So we would recommend that you do have to fill this out, female, male, or another legal sex. Once again, that's up to you how you choose to answer that. Pronouns are not required, but if you do want to add your pronouns, which sometimes it's really helpful for international students because we might look at your name and not know if it's like how you identify. So if you want to add a pronoun, you can put your preferred pronouns in there as well. Okay. Languages. So you, like many other international students, probably speak a few languages. At this top part, you're going to do the number of languages that you're proficient in, okay? For example, for myself, I speak English and Japanese. My Japanese is not super strong, but I can get by on it. So I would select two. Let's say in Pakistan, let's say you speak English, Urdu, and what's another language? Maybe one of your local languages. You would put down three. Then you go into select language. You put down if it's your first language. So I'm assuming most of you, your first language is probably Urdu. Mine would be English. First language is the first language you learn and what usually you speak at home. And then depending on how many languages you put up here, you'll have the opportunity to fill in how fluent you are in all these languages. This is helpful because it allows us to get a better understanding of you. And I always recommend that students do fill this out. Okay. The next, geography and nationality. I know most of this sounds pretty basic, but I can't tell you how many times I read an application, the Common App is filled out incorrectly because the students put down the wrong birth country or citizenship or something like that. So birth country is the country in which you were born. Let's say you are from Pakistan, but you were born in another country, right? Let's say you were born in, I don't know, Nepal. You would still have to put down the country you were born and the city you were born, okay? Then, if you lived in the United States, you put down the number of years of you lived in the US. Most of you would probably be 1 year or less. Then, this is your citizenship status. If you do not hold a US citizenship, you are a citizen of non-US country. Then you can list all the countries of your citizenship right here, okay? If you're a Pakistani student and you have US citizenship, awesome. You would put down, let's say you're born in Pakistan, you put down Islamabad. You can even put down you never lived in the US 1 year left or yes. But if you were born here, you would be a citizen of the US. So you would just click this drop down. Oops, sorry. Click that drop down and go to US citizen. All right. So it's really important that you fill this out correctly, your citizen status, because this flows into our application system and then it flows into your record and your communication flow. So please, please, if you have any questions on this, put them in the chat, or you can just raise your hand and I can try and answer those for you. This next area, oh, this is citizenship status over here. Okay. Citizen, dual citizen, permanent resident, anything like that. Okay. Do you hold a valid US visa? Most of you will probably be saying no because you don't have a valid visa. Do you intend to apply for a new or different visa? This is usually going to be yes, unless you're a US citizen, because you need to be F1 student. That's the visa type you're going to put here. Okay. So let's say you've been to the United States before and you have a B2 visa, a tourist visa. If you do have a tourist visa, you would select yes here, but you would still select yes, you intend to apply for a new visa because you will need to be an F1 student. All right. If you have any questions on this, once again, let me know. I can answer these at the end. The next thing is family information. We do need to know your parents' marital status, if they're married, separated, divorced. Um, if they are separated, who do you make your permanent home with? You can do both parents, mother, father, up to you. Do you have any children? All right. And then, oops, sorry. Then after you hit continue, you would have to put, so I said no here. After you hit continue, you'd have to pull out information from parent one, parent two, and any siblings, brothers, sisters that you might have. Right? Okay, so now we're moving into the education portion. It's important that you use this drop down to find your school. If your school is not listed in the drop down, that's totally fine. So first of all, so what you would first do is go here and let's say you're at Beacon House. I've been to Pakistan many times. I know there's like so many different Beacon Houses. You have to make sure you select the right one. So you can put in Beacon House, Lahore, Beacon House, Faisalabad. Just make sure it's the correct school. And then here you're going to put your date of entry. This is after your grade 10 board, so when you started at that school, okay? Or when you started at your high school. If you have to search for your high school, you would go here, you would put in your high school name, all right? So it's search by high school name. I did this presentation in India last time, but I go to high school lookup, search by high school name. I knew Vasant was in the high school, right? So I just put Vasant and it pulls up all these different schools. It was actually Vasant Valley School. So then I would have clicked on this and your school would be noted here. It's important to have the school systems correct because many of us at DePaul and at other schools in the United States may have visited your school before. And because we visited your school, we might have some specific information about your school. So by ensuring that your school is correct, it might waive some requirements for you. Might. All right. So this is if you're looking at the high school lookup and you don't see your school name in this list, that's fine. All you need to do then is put in your high school name as carefully and as closely as possible so that it matches your actual high school name. Really check for typos and things like that. The region, so yours would be Pakistan. School type, this is boarding school, secondary school, and then the address. Please be really careful and pay attention to details if you're adding your school to this list. If you're here and you see a school that kind of matches your school, but it's not really your school, don't select that. Make sure you add your school separately. There's one country we do a lot of work in. I won't tell you what it is. But there's one really big international school in this country. Students at the smaller schools were doing a search, right? And they would find this international school that kind of matched their school name because it had the city name, the same city name in it. And they were selecting this as their school. It caused a lot of issues with the counselor because I kept emailing the counselor and saying, hey, I need this from this particular student. They're like, oh, that's not my student. So it's really, really important that you use the correct school name. Okay. Remember our day, we do month and year. If it's a boarding school, we'd like to know yes or no. That's up to you. So yeah, boarding school, yes or no. Boarding school is where you stay at a school, and you maybe just go home on the weekends. I know there's a couple really big ones in Pakistan, so we like to know if it's a boarding school because it helps us with our decision-making process. Um, if you did or will graduate, so let's say you're graduating in uh, May of 2027, you would put yes, and your graduation date you would do May 2027. Okay. Um, if you've I wouldn't worry too much about this unless you take a gap year. If you are taking a gap year, that's a year between high school and university, just let us know here. All right. Okay, the next part is really important too. So let's say you're at Lahore Grammar School. I'll use that for example. Let's say you're at Lahore Grammar School, and let's say that you did a summer program. I don't know if that's a good example. Now, let's say you're at Lahore Grammar School, and your junior high school was at a different school, your elementary school. Any schools that you put in your Common App are going to, if you put a school in the Common App, you have to send a transcript for that school. We don't need your elementary schools. We only want your high school, okay? Only secondary school. All right. When you're filling out the educational component as well, you can give us your graduating class. We'd like to know how many students are in a class. We don't need the rank unless you want to put that. GPA scale, most of you are going to be, I think, doing IGCSEs. I'm assuming there's a grading scale for that, but you can just put it there. Don't worry if you put something incorrect on this page. We still review absolutely everything, so we have to verify that it's all correct. But this just helps us know what we're looking for. Okay. Current or most recent year courses. We need to know the courses that you're currently taking or will be taking in your final year. Um, your school system semester, this is fall 2 times a year, fall and winter. Trimester is 3. Quarterly is 4 times a year and yearly. So it just depends how your grading works at your school. Your counselors will know this. Then, depending on how many courses you put up here, we need to see each subject, okay? Once again, fill this out to the best of your ability. If you make, excuse me, if you make a mistake, it's okay. We review all this information, all right? We will review absolutely everything. Make sure if you've done any honors coursework or community-based or work with community-based organizations that you put them here as well. This is your future plan, so we do need to know what you're planning on doing. These dates are from last year, obviously, so you can be applying as a first year student and plan to start college in maybe it's fall 27, maybe it's winter 27, maybe it's fall 28. It's up to you. But just answer these once again to the best of your knowledge. This highest degree you intend to earn. Obviously, if you're going to university, everyone should be bachelor's or higher. But this is once again just for our information. Okay. Career interest does not mean your major. This is just your career, what you're interested in doing in your career. All right. Testing. So at DePaul, we do require proof of English proficiency. If you've done O levels and have a C or above, we can use those as proof of English proficiency. AP, I think it's 4 above, IB, English, 5 or above. So we do take proof of English proficiency from tests outside of TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo. But if you are or will need to take some English proficiency exam, you need, oh, you have IB and everything in here. So you will have to say yes here, okay? Then you put in what test that you will be reporting to us. We need to know what this is because let's say you put in Duolingo and you happen to take the Duolingo test and you're like, but I took this. And we look at your application, we're like, oh yeah, they said they were taking Duolingo. Maybe you used the wrong name, the wrong email address. Knowing that you have it on your Common App, we'll be able to go back and do some research on that. Once again, follow the prompts. You can submit your self-reported scores. We use these for review purposes. If you are admitted and do enroll, please know that we will be verifying absolutely all of the documents that you have sent in. all of them, okay? If let's say you're in national school in Pakistan and you do grade 10 boards, grade 12 boards. Um, so if you say is promotion within your education system based on standard leaving exams at the end of lower and or senior secondary school, you in Pakistan, if you're doing national school, grade 10, grade 12, you would say yes right here. Okay. Once again, these prompts over here are incredibly important, so use those as much as you can. Activities in writing. So not all universities require a writing component. Um, Many do, but not all. I do recommend doing the writing component on the Common App, and I also do recommend, if this is something you're a little bit nervous about, talk to someone at EducationUSA or USEFP, or attend one of the workshops on essay writing. We at DePaul don't really use essays that much, so it's up to you if you submit it or not. But I can tell you if a student's doing a Common App and they filled out the essay, I can always tell if it's written by AI. So just remember that. Um, Activities not required, but once again, very, very helpful, especially you've done some amazing community-based work. I would recommend putting in activities. If it's just something like babysitting or yard work, probably not that important. Yeah. So now adding colleges. So you've already completed the Common App, right? This is all of your specific information, your demographic information, your family information, your educational information, your transcripts. Now it's time to add colleges, but you can actually add colleges before too. It's up to you. So you would go to My Colleges, and this is where you learn how to add. So you go to add a college, okay? Then in here, let's say you're like, oh, I know I want to study in Chicago. I'm not sure where I want to go yet. You can just put in Chicago and all the schools will populate. Obviously, you would probably want to select DePaul. Just kidding. But you could select DePaul, you could select U Chicago. It's up to you what you select there. When you see the school that you want, you would just click add, and then that would add it to your list of colleges. So once you have all your colleges here, you'll see all these different lists. Okay. Some colleges, like DePaul, we have specific information that we need you to answer. So after you add your colleges, after you've completed the Common App stuff, after you add your colleges, you need to click on the college and see if there's a supplementary portion that you need to fill out. Okay. Um, Common App fee waiver page. DePaul does not require an application fee, so on the fee waiver page, you can select no. UStrive, I would also select no because I'm not really sure what that is. If some of your schools do require an application fee, you can ask for a waiver, but there's a very specific list of requirements for those waivers. Okay. Final step. After selecting your colleges and filling out all the Common App information, you're ready to apply. So go to your list of colleges, make your selection, and complete all those categories. This is what I was telling you, like some schools have supplementary information. Then we will ask for recommendations. For the recommendations, usually we need an email address. So whoever you're asking to do a recommendation, please make sure that they're aware you have put their email down for a recommendation. Okay. There's a checklist at the back where you can see what's done, and then you can submit and you are good to go. So that was a lot of information. I have some time for questions if you have, but I also wanted to show you a few really cool websites that I found the other day when I was looking for. So this, hold on, let's wait till it. Okay. So this guy right here, and this is going to be on a list of resources. He's from Common App, and he has a great YouTube video on how to use the webinar. Okay, or sorry, how to use the Common App. This is also another resource for the Common App. You guys can take photos of this, or I can send it to EducationUSA and they can share it with you. And then this, I ran across this guy last night. He's so good. He's so cute. This is an international student who actually walks you through the Common App as an international student. I thought this is really cool. I thought it was really good, and he's like so cute and friendly too. But this is also something that you can check out. So there's a lot of resources online. And I also shared a lot of the resources here as well. Okay, so that's a little bit about the Common App. Remember, it opens on August 1st. So you can start messing around. Even if you're not applying for a couple of years, you can still start your Common App because it rolls over. Your information will roll over. Um, yeah, and then, when you visit schools, maybe there's a school you really like or a school comes to you. If you've already started the Common App, add that school to your list of resources on the Common App, and then you have that information there. But that's it for me. So, Natalia,
We do have a
let
couple
me
of
just get
questions. I can ask them,
yes,
and then you can just
yes.
respond to them. Someone is asking, is the Common App only for undergraduate students or graduate program applicants can also use the Common App?
Yeah, that's a great question. Coming up is undergraduate. So at the graduate level, what happens in the United States in many schools? Well, there's some programs that use like a caste system, or if you're going to Master of Public Health or any of the health programs, I just forgot what it was called, and I'll do some research. But if you're applying to those, there's a specific application that you need to use. But usually at the graduate level in the US, graduate departments make their own decisions, so they have their own application.
Okay, and then someone is asking, what school would I put if I'm a private A-level student?
Yeah, so you did your, I'm assuming, put the school that you did your O levels at or your grade 10 board. So you would put that school. And then if you're just doing private A levels, you would just submit the scores to us. Um, and I think it's hard to go through it without having Common App access, but yeah, so definitely for the school, put what you did up to your GCSEs or IGCSEs.
Okay, and then someone's asking, what if the school is not on the list?
Yeah, if the school, am I still sharing over here? Yeah. If the school, that's a really good question because many smaller schools or international schools are not on the list. If your school is on the list, say, or not on the list, say, I don't see my high school in this list, then you add your high school name as closely as possible. Well, I keep saying as closely, your exact high school name, the country, region, or territory that it's in, and the school type. Oops, I don't have the drop down for the school type, but I'm assuming here it says secondary, maybe secondary, primary, boarding school, college. So you would select it there. Also, one thing about college, A-level college, we can still consider high school. We don't consider that college. Okay. Like college in the US is different than UK system. Right.
Yeah. And then someone is asking that I'm from a government high school and they don't have a
Mhm.
specific school registered email. So how does their
Oh,
teacher or principal upload transcripts or letters of rec?
yeah, that's always such a difficult one. So, for transcripts, we will take an unofficial transcript so they can email us at international@depaul.edu, or they can add it via the Common App, either one. But if you're a government school, we will take unofficial to review your application. Let's say you're at a government school, you or your counselor submits that unofficial application, or sorry, unofficial transcript. We will review it with unofficial transcripts. If we admit you and if you decide to come to DePaul, you will need to bring with you a signed and sealed envelope with your official transcript, with the stamps and everything on that in a signed and sealed envelope. Alternately, your counselor or principal can always send that to us earlier, and we'll send you the physical mailing address for that. But also, if they are comfortable and use the Common App, I believe they can upload it through Parchment or through the Common App as well. So
And then someone is asking, can we see universities list without making a profile, just to in the
Yes.
CommonApp are accredited or authorized?
Yeah. So this is where you would do the college search, and then you can click on them and get information when they're here. I am 95% sure that every university you see on the Common App is going to be fully accredited because these are schools that use the Common App, right? So I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. So that was all for the questions. Thank you so much, Susan, for your time and for the session. I know it was really helpful for our students, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you to all of our students for joining as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.